Hello community! Today we will try to conquer all of the original 6 maps from Hitman 2016 while also achieving Hitman's hardest challenges: a silent assassin, suit only, and a long-range sniper assassin all at the same time. Every single target must be killed by a sniper and every shot needs to be made from long range. All targets must be conscious at all times before we take the shot, and we have to try our best to keep every playthrough under 10 minutes. Now, why that would be so hard, you may ask? First of all, every target tends to have their own personal bodyguard that follows them, as well as random NPCs surrounding the location. Taking every kill with a long-range sniper means it's impossible to hide target bodies, meaning that we have to both find the location where a target can be lured into our view, but also make sure it's safe enough that no one will find their body after we take the shot. Luckily for me, we were starting in Paris, a map I knew inside and out like my own girlfriend. With this loadout in mind, I was ready to begin my mission. We were in Paris, I had to be fashionable. Plus, I think this loadout really lives up to my name. Speed was essential as timing was critical. I knew Dahlia wouldn't be a big problem, as she tends to be more relaxed with her guards. However, Victor's bodyguard was attached to him closer than a redneck is to his first cousin. I picked some rat poison from the basement as a way to separate the loving couple and made my way upstairs. I knew making my way into the kitchen would be risky, but I had no other way. Bumping my way through the corridor, I made it just in time to deliver and apply the secret sauce, before rushing my way into the bathroom like I just had Taco Bell. I had to wait for Inspector Clouseau to look around and get lost on the way back. From there, all I had to do was make my way upstairs. I had to sacrifice one of my coins, but in return, I had a fireworks remote that would basically serve my targets on a plate. Despite my lack of a disguise, I was able to maneuver through Paris like I owned the place. I felt like an Austrian painter in the 1940s. My rifle was stashed in a nearby shed, so I went to pick it up. With it officially retrieved, I knew I had all of my main elements completed. All that was left was to press the magic button, and at 3 minutes and 47 seconds exactly, that's what I did. In order for my kill to work, I had to wait for both of them to get into exactly the right position. Too soon and the kill would be blown, too late and the guards could spot the bodies. The timing had to be precise. With both my targets lined up, I decided to be a gentleman and let the ladies go first. So, after I shot Victor, I've moved my scope upwards and finished Dahlia as well. I'm sure she was hoping to be penetrated in a different type of way, but it was late, I was tired, and this was the best I could do. With my mission completed, I packed my tool and proceeded to make my way to the exit. I had achieved success on my very first mission. I had conquered Paris. But, after a quick glance at the history books, I realized that achievement was really not that difficult, so I just climbed my way onto the chopper and moved along to my second mission. That was the small coastal town of Sapienza in Italy. Much like Paris, I knew I had to arrive in style, and with this loadout, that's exactly what I did. My targets were Norman Bates, a horny cougar, and a deadly virus. It's all very Italian, as you can tell. So, I made my way onto the roof, quickly grabbing my sniper rifle from its matching suitcase, and then proceeded to the kitchen. Since I knew Psycho was still reminiscing about his mother, I added an expired can of spaghetti to his lunch to bring back some memories. As I made my way through the house, I knew I had to make my way to the basement. Thankfully, a sniper rifle can handle any locked door, as the way to the lab area was prohibited. As I made my way towards the virus, I spotted a guard in my way. Luckily, he fell asleep on the job, and from there, the virus was an easy endeavor. One shot in the right place was all I needed. With the virus wreaking havoc downstairs, I decided to make my way back up. It was lunchtime after all, so I wanted to make sure Silvio wouldn't miss it. I mean, after all, it would be his final one. With the bells rang and Silvio on the way, it was time for me to dive back into the caves. It was hunting season and I had a cougar on the way. But first I needed to clear some pests that could cause me some issues. With them dispatched, the stage was set and all I needed to do was wait for my prey to arrive. Here again, timing was crucial. Too soon and the guards would hear it, too late and I would miss my chance. But as soon as she made her way downstairs, one shot at the back of the head made my hunt a success. But with her 2 simps sitting around waiting for her, it was only a matter of time before they went searching and ultimately found the body. A little distraction plus a tranquilizer quickly put an end to that risk. From here, Mama's boy was the only one left, and with lunchtime officially underway, I knew I had a very limited amount of time to make my way to the getaway where I could take the final shot. Time was of the essence, but I did make sure to say hello to Luigi real quick. With my rifle back in its box, it was time to run for the exit. Finally, making my way to the pier, I had to be very careful of any NPCs around. The danger of being spotted here was definitely present, but I had no other choice. Luckily, Silvio had decided to go for a stroll and take one final look at the beautiful architecture, allowing me the perfect opportunity to get a shot off, then holster my weapon quickly and escape. Though I had conquered both Paris and Sapienza, I realized they were the easiest of the maps, and my journey was only getting harder from here. As I made my way to Marrakesh, I remembered an old route I used to make, shooting Clouseau through the window while distracting his guard with the precise shots. The problem was that route was far too inconsistent. It relied heavily on luck when it comes to guards' visions, as well as where Clouseau's body was ultimately gonna end up. I knew I had to design a new strategy this time around, and that's what I did. With this loadout in mind, I was ready to go. My plan was simple. Take Clouseau out of the consulate building, as having him in there made things a hell of a lot more complicated. Now, people have all types of ways of getting him to run out of there. Some use explosives in the garage to trigger an evacuation, or they sneak their way around and shoot the fire alarm to cause the same effect. Me? I had a significantly simpler plan. Just shoot him in the dick. The window lowered the damage I dealt, meaning that it wouldn't be enough to kill him, but it would be enough to get him to run away. From there, all I needed to do was a little bit of setup work. I tranked one of the guards near the entry point, which in turn scared the other guard, allowing me to run right through like a cold beer through a digestive system, while also leaving a little gift for my target's personal bodyguard when he comes along. With my setup now complete, all I had to do was cosplay some Assassin's Creed as I made my way to my sniper nest, and prepared for my targets to arrive. First came Zaidan. As he made his way into his office, a little shot near the window was enough to lure him into position. All I had to do was wait for him to go and investigate, and as soon as he did, his fate was sealed. Clouseau was yet to arrive, but he wasn't far, and my plan was working brilliantly. With his guard taking note of my present, he went to stash it in a nearby crate. Meanwhile, I sent Clouseau to go investigate a beautiful wall I had come across. As he was praising and admiring its beauty, he got a little too excited by it, so much so that his head exploded. With both my targets now expelled, I had successfully completed my mission, and all that was left was a simple getaway. Though I had an annoying principal in my way, it's nothing a quick coin toss couldn't fix. As he took a late morning nap, I ran my way down the stairs and exited the building. I had achieved yet another successful run. I was officially halfway through the story, but the most difficult maps were just getting started. Bangkok was up next, and I knew it was going to be a challenge. A hotel map doesn't bring a lot of great opportunities for sniping targets. I had to be extremely creative and use all of my knowledge to its full potential. I had my loadout already picked out, and I was rather excited. Despite some of its shortcomings, Bangkok was a place I've always enjoyed. Not to mention, for some reason, women tend to outnumber men by a lot. I wonder why that is.
What's your name? Roberto!
Anyways, so here we go. My first order of business was to deal with Ken Morgan's overly protective bodyguard. If I was to deal with him from distance, his bodyguard had to hit the road jack. And through my emetic grenade, that's exactly what he did. A little bullet distraction cleared my way into the kitchen, where my patience had become rather thin. Kneecapping the head chef gave me just enough of a distraction to make my way to Jordan's birthday cake numbers, allowing me a perfect opportunity to grab them and run away. Just in time to catch Morgan's soon-to-be ex-bodyguard making his way into the bathroom. He was clearly feeling under the weather, so much so that he ended up losing consciousness on his way to the throne. Throwing his body in a nearby closet meant I had one less man in black to worry about. Ken Morgan's setup was more or less complete, but I still had Jordan Cross to worry about. I quickly made my way to the pipe and, given my choice of outfit, I assumed myself invisible as I headed into my room, where I found my trusty sniper rifle ready for me. With it officially retrieved, I was ready for the final touches, but Jordan was yet to be set up. So, with some pistol shenanigans, I was able to make my way through the roof and right into the party room. Planting the numbers meant that both my kills were officially set in motion, but I still needed to reach my sniper nests, and I had no patience to wait around for fools. Anybody who got in my way was gonna get their knees capped. Time was of the essence, and I was in a rush. Once I had made my way into the room I needed, it was all about timing and precision. The shots needed to be correct. A little to the left or right would both result in my plan being ruined. But, alas, my shots were just where they needed to be, and with everyone distracted, I pulled the trigger and Ken Morgan went swimming with the fishes. He already looked like a seal anyways. From here, Jordan was up next, but I was yet to reach my desired location. As I made my way to the final floor, I had to be very careful. NPCs can be unpredictable up here, and their timing can vary slightly. But with Jordan's party coming to a close, I politely asked one of the mates if she could move from the window I needed. She was surprisingly cooperative. With her out of the way, I had the perfect view. All I needed to do was wait for the perfect moment. I was gonna let Jordan have one last taste of his cake. I wanted him to look up, to see his eyes.
Look up. I wanna see your eyes, motherfucker.
And just like that, both my targets were assassinated, and my mission was once again complete. I wanna say I felt proud, and I kinda did, but at the same time, I knew what awaited me. In the next mission, it would be the toughest challenge I've ever faced in a Hitman game. So, as I slid out and made my way to the exit, I was already preparing myself for what was about to be unleashed. Bangkok may have been finished, but Colorado was knocking on the door. And boy, with 4 targets and a flat as fuck map, this was about to be a hell of a challenge. I needed to combine all of my skills and knowledge to put together a bulletproof plan. I had to minimize risks and create a flawless route that had no visible weaknesses. Setting up all of the kills at the same time would have been far too lengthy, so I cut the guide in 2 pieces, where I would set up the first 2 kills, take them, then set up the other 2 and move from there. With my loadout firmly selected, I advanced to my toughest challenge yet. Time was of the essence, and I wasted none. I immediately went after the guards that were standing in my way and one by one started taking them down. I had to be careful, taking down only guards that were necessary, otherwise I would run the risk of their bodies being found. I used my coins like breadcrumbs, creating a little trap for my approvati, then took down the guard and started hiding some bodies and weapons where I could. I would never make my way through this section again, so if anything was out of the ordinary, it would get found. I had to be very fast, but also extremely precise. With both of my kills now set up, I ran as fast as I could to the water tower where my kills awaited me. A bullet distraction was all I needed for Sean Rose to isolate himself fully, and as soon as he did, I shot him right in the dick. This time, there was no protective glass, so my shot was critical. From there, I moved to Miss Pravati. As she was picking up the coins I had laid, she was slowly coming into my grasp. And as soon as she made her way to the window, I pulled the trigger, and just like that, my double kill was now completed. Despite my impressive feat so far, we still had 2 more targets running around, and I was yet to set them up. But I had no worry. I moved through the map like a snake through the grass. I knew exactly where I needed to be, but again, time was of the essence. I had to be fast enough to both set them up and also get back to the tower in time. Speed was everything. Finally, I made my way to Ezra's shed and proceeded to knock out both of the guards who were hanging around it. Then, hiding the bodies and the weapons. Had I been just a little bit slower, this part of the mission would have been extremely difficult. But with it now complete, it was time to infiltrate the house. Though it was tough and I was sweating like a whore in church, I knew my way around the place. Knocking out both hackers and the patrolling guard gave me the upper floor all to myself, which is exactly what I needed. All I had to do was hide their bodies, then plant my audio distraction right next to the balcony door. With that, I had completed all of my setup tasks, but I still had to find my way back to the sniper nest. With my confidence at an all-time high, I just ran right through. But I did have to be careful of the two guards on the roof. Knocking them out seemed like the only sensible thing to do, so that's exactly what I did, hiding their bodies and weapons in the process as well. Sure, it took a bit of time, but it made my getaway completely bulletproof. All I needed to do from here is make my way back up and take the shots. I activated the audio distraction and started climbing up. Ezra was already in the perfect spot, so the shot was rather easy to take. But the difficult part was Penelope. If I hit her way too hard, her body would fly over the rail and be discovered. If I didn't hit her hard enough, she would survive and the alarm would go off. This needed to be perfect. So guess what I did?
Right now, pussy!
What can I say? If it works, it works. And just like that, we achieved one of the greatest achievements any Hitman player could do. We had conquered Colorado. But our challenge was not done yet. We still had one more map to go, and it was one I really didn't like. Through the years, I've made my feelings very clear on Hokkaido. It's a map I do not enjoy at all. It's probably my least favorite map after Colorado. Extremely restricted, overfilled with guards in super tight corridors, and almost every door being locked behind an electronic lock makes a really wonky experience in my view. So, doing a sniper assassin here would be rather tricky, but with this loadout, I felt I had a decent shot. What I needed to do was fairly obvious to me. I made my way into the cowboy's room to pick up his cigars, something I knew my female target would appreciate. From there, all I had to do was deliver them in time, though that would not be easy. Doing my best to avoid Mr. Hush, I pulled out my tranq and took down one of the main bodyguards standing by the door. Now, that was quite genius, as taking him down both scared the guard next to him, causing him to ignore my illegal actions, as well as unlocking the front door, meaning I didn't have to waste a slot for my key hacker. From there, I repeated the process with the guards inside and placed the cigarettes on the table. My setup was complete. All that was left was for me to break into Portman's personal headquarters and assemble a position. I had a clear view of my target. All I needed to do was be patient and wait for Miss Yamazaki. She took out one of the cigars and made her way to the side of the balcony. It turns out people were right. Smoking can get you killed. With her firmly out of the way, I had only one last target to worry about, but I didn't really need to kill him. Eric Souders was already dying. All I needed to do was make sure to continue the trend. As I made my way to the basement level, it was a perfect opportunity to take down one final guard and hide the body as well as destroy the evidence. From there, it was a simple aim down sights and I killed his last hope of surviving. With both my targets officially dealt with, I just ran my way to the exit, and just like that, I had completed one of the most difficult achievements in Hitman. Though difficult, there was certainly a level of pride and fulfillment when it was all done. But after the incredible amount of work I had to put into creating these guides, more or less from scratch, I really needed to collect my thoughts and focus ahead. But before that, I wanted to say a big thank you to all of you who've stuck with me and helped my channel grow through this year. Without you, none of this would have been possible. So until we meet again, this has been Wild Goat. Thank you very much for watching.